People. Que pasa, sac passe, what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. First thing that is popping in the news is an update or some clarity. Shed some light about a story that I spoke about, which would be 2 videos before this one that you're listening to right now. I spoke about a couple, a married couple, Novelette being the wife, Basil being the husband, where there was a voice note circulating all over social media with Basil interrogating his wife like he was the FBI about some cheating allegations with one of his worst enemy turned Joe Grind. That person's name is Omar Brown. Just for clarity, the name of Novelette is Novelette Graham, taking the husband's name. The husband's name, Basil Graham. Basil Graham works at Port Antonio High School as a principal. Novelette works at Port Antonio Primary School. She is a teacher. Based on the information that I got, they've been married for a while. They have 3 picnic, 2 older boys and the daughter, which is the youngest of the 3. I am going to speak about one of the oldest son that don't talk to Basil because of the way that Basil treats his mother, Basil's wife. Now, yesterday when I spoke about this incident, it was based on a voice note that has been circulating all over social media, 14 minutes plus, in which Basil was pretty much interrogating his wife like the FBI, Mr. Watchipum's division, where there were some sorts of allegations or fact that he knew that she was said to be cheating with a person whose name is Omar Brown. It hurt Mr. Basil very much because Omar Brown is considered his worst enemy. Omar Brown is a person that he has a whole bunch of history, not good history with. These are 2 people that live like puss and dog, cat and mouse. Now, when I spoke about the story, I showed a couple of screenshots of a couple of texts that persons who are from Portland were responding, and they are claiming, they are saying that, listen, Novelette is a big cheater. Novelette a cheat pan Basil for the longest time. So pretty much the general consensus out there, based on public view, is that Novelette was the bad apple and Mr. Basil Graham was the victim. Novelette was always out there with all sorts of man, and Mr. Basil Graham is just defending his territory as the alpha male upon the Serengeti. People, based on information that I got after the facts, not based on the voice note. If you listen to the voice notes, there would be mixed reaction. Some people are say, then he might treat this lady so like a cheater, like a little child, like he is scolding her for doing something wrong. And then some people are say, yeah man, she a big cheat. If I'm my wife and she do that, I'm going to hear. She lucky say Basil did not pretty much take off her head. So we saw that the reactions was mixed. I am not going to say 50-50. I am going to say about 60 in favor of Basil and 40 in favor of Novelette. But people, here are the facts. And these are facts based on what persons who know both people that work in the same environment with both persons. These people are from Portland. These people, them familiar with the family. They are familiar with exactly what is going on. Now, I mentioned a person's name. His name is Omar Brown. Omar Brown was said to be the person in which Novelette was seen in a place called Castle. Just to give you a direction of where Castle is, that is if you take that one main road and you're going towards Boston Jerk, and then you're headed towards St. Thomas. It is said that Mr. Brown works up in that direction, so therefore I guess Castle is some sort of secluded area. Now in the voice note you heard the husband Basil interrogating Novelette, and I say, me ear said, tell me who you did with. He was asking her, like I said, people, this voice note was in excess of 14 minutes. He was asking her to confess where she was and who she was with. Basil knew the person that she was with before, because people, you know, say ears, they are bush and eye upon the wall, fly upon the wall. Anything people see, them are go snitch, especially when it comes to any sorts of mix up, bun, passa, rete, lele, blue, blah, bling. Anyway, Novelette finally confessed, yes, I was with Mr. Omar Brown. We were in his car. However, we did not take it to the furthest extent. She said that him put her on down deso, meaning between her leg, meaning him did pretty much a play piano with the CLIT. Him a touch it up, touch up the keys operator for me. Now here's the story about Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown and Basil used to work at the same place, a credit union in a Portland. The manager at that credit union, his name is Mr. Blackwood. It seems as if Mr. Blackwood and Basil Graham was always taking set by Omar Brown. They even caused Omar Brown to lose his job at the credit union before Mr. Basil Graham became a teacher / principal at the Port Antonio High School. So it seems as if Mr. Omar Brown had some sort of vengeance that he was going to take out on Mr. Basil Graham. He knew that Mr. Basil Graham is the type of person that him cherish him wife. I would not say he cherishes his wife. Him act like him a slave driver. Him act like him own the woman. He would use reverse psychology. Based on information that I also got, it is said that the person who was the real cheater in this relationship was Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil was pretty much sleeping with a whole bunch of the teachers that works at the school in which he is the principal. He must sleep with everybody in the office. He must sleep with auxiliary staff. So therefore, he was not no sorts of innocent bystander. He was not what you would consider to be a loyal husband. He was slinging his little ding-along all over the place. As it pertains to Novelette, based on information that I am getting. Now people, this is my disclaimer. Sometimes I do story and sometimes people tell me stuff. Sometimes these people have an agenda. They have ulterior motive. They are biased. However, sometimes when I have conversations with people that don't have any sorts of horse in the race, and I listen to them, in my estimation, the person that I got this information from sounds as if they are honest. So therefore, I am going to go with what they say. But people, disclaimer once again, there are always 3 to 4 sides to every story. Basil's side, Novelette's side, the truth. Me no know which is which. Me just give you the story as me get it. Not adding and not subtracting anything from the story. So pretty much, Novelette is said to be a pretty much honest wife. There's a 14 minutes video with her in a some sorts of car with Mr. Omar Brown in a place called Castle, past Boston, headed to the direction of St. Thomas. Not in St. Thomas, me just a give a direction, not coming back, going towards St. Thomas area. She told you, or she said it to herself, she confessed to the husband that yes, we never have no sex, but in pretty much a separate the jaw them with him finger and use the middle finger for clickety clickety click. You know exactly what me I talk about. So now people, here is the thing with Mr. Brown, Omar Brown. Like I told you before, Mr. Basil and Mr. Blackwood at the credit union fight out Omar Brown, so therefore he had some sorts of vindictive feelings. Based on the information, it is said that just how you hear Basil on the voice note, he is calm, and people say if for the average Jamaican, they may then pretty much get some sorts of farm utensil and cut off or take off our head. But people, here's the thing. It seems as if Basil was just going short of that. He would not cross the line, or he has not crossed the line as yet, because he knows him a principal. Based on information that I am getting, it is said that Mrs. Novelette Graham gets her regular clot up whenever him feel like. Whenever he gets in his feelings, whenever he is out cheating. So pretty much it seems as if this is a case where the pot is calling the kettle black. People like them said thief don't like to see thief with long bag. So therefore it seems as if, however, the argument started because Mr. Graham is the bullbucker and dopey conqueror. Him are the bigger person. He is more dominant. Him have all sorts of fear instilled in this lady. Based on the information that I am getting, it is also said that Mr. Basil Graham is the holder of 2 firearms. He is a legal firearm holder. And sometimes, many occasions, him even point the toll at the lady and THREATEN for take out her life. However, he did not go to that extent. However, she get her regular schedule clot up whenever him feel like. Whenever he goes out and he cheats and him come back home and she ask him any sorts of question, he would always use reverse psychology. So people like me say, this lady was tired of the clotting up. That man, Mr. Omar Brown, the Joe grind in all of this, knew that he was going to try to get back at Mr. Basil Graham. So therefore, if the wife is in distress, if the wife is tired of the husband doing all sorts of things to her, and then Mr. Omar Brown realizes, yes, that is a situation. So therefore, when 2 people don't like somebody, it is not as if them in love, but them want get back. They have a common enemy, and that common enemy is Mr. Basil Graham. So thenceforth, that is why the cheating was going to happen, because both of them wanted to get back at him for what he has done to them. Point blank and period. Now people, based on information that I am getting, I told you earlier in the story that Basil and Novelette, them have 3 pitney. 2 of those pitney, them are older pitney. It is said that one of the older, or the oldest son, don't even talk to the father because of all the experiences, all the time that he has seen the father a clot up the mother, which is Novelette. So people like me say, this is just to bring clarity to the situation. There is no addition, there is no sorts of subtraction, just telling it like it was told to me. I am just the messenger. What this proves, however, is that, listen, unless these people get some sorts of structure in their life, unless these 2 people either separate or find some sorts of professional counseling, if things continue on the way that they are going to continue, the husband is going to be cheating, Novelette is going to be cheating, and then the pressure is going to get too much that either one of them is either going to take out the other. More than likely, the fact that Mr. Basil Graham is the holder of 2 firepiece and also legitimate license, chances are it is going to be easier for him. He is the more aggressive of the two. You heard that this lady sounds passive. However, people, like them say, silent river runs deep. Point blank and period. Now, people, you know that saying, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. When they made amendments to the Firearm Acts, and when they increased the time in which persons are going to get for very serious crime, I said it on several occasions. These crooks, these criminals, these gunmen, these shotters, they are going to get more desperate. And people, so said, so done. The Black Channel again manifests. In about 12 days or so, 5 officers have been caught up. Out of those 5 officers, 4 of them was okay, and then 1 lost his life. So now we see that the Popo High Command, they are on high alert, telling Popo nationwide. Now these 12 days was between February 13th to February 25th. It is said that the Popo Commission is telling the officers, be on full alert. Make sure you put all your training into play. I will speak about this further on in the news. The officers that were conned up, Mr. Forsyth, District Constable in St. Thomas, the incidents at Grants Pen in which them pull over a bike man in wheel and pop off. An ex-Popo was shot 3 days later at a car wash. In a Greenwich farm 3 days after that, an ex-Popo was also conned up. That was the 24th of February. On the 25th of February, an ex-Popo in a Moko Clarendon, he was conned up. So people, they mentioned 5. However, there was a 6th. I am speaking about an incident that occurred in St. James, Montego Bay, where 3 rapid response Popo pull over a man, the man wheel and pop off, blaze up some can, 1 got hit in the shoulder. Him take away himself, went to some sort of hospital in a Trelawney, Falmouth. They held on to him. Now, let me talk about what the Popo say. Be on high alert. Apply your training. People, if you look and if you have any sorts of sense, you would see that a lot of these Popo, it seems as if when they went to the training school, them forget everything once they get that job. In my humble opinion, I think that most Popo in the JCF, they are just there to do a shift. Them just dead for hustle. They are not very serious about their job. They are nonchalant. They are preoccupied. Them have other things upon their mind when they are supposed to be focused. So therefore, they are always going to be caught slipping. As somebody off of the street, I know the mentality of people off the street. Pretty much, if you are very serious and you get pulled over by any sorts of Popo, you are going to always have the advantage. Because you know, say, you are trying to escape. And when you look, you see, say, this officer is not really alert. This officer just thinks that it is just another day upon the job, another day in paradise. So therefore, that is why we see the rampage that we are seeing. 5 people in a 12 days, that is an average of 1 every 2 days or so, 2.5 days or less. People, if this is not a wake-up call, if this is not some sort of alarm in them ears, me no know we're going to make them change. It seems as if instead of out of the 5 that got caught up or 6 that get caught up, if 6 of them not DEAD, they are not going to change the way that they think, the way that they conduct business on the street. It is not business as usual. I told you before that whenever you make any sorts of changes, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So therefore, if you are not proactive and be reactive, you're always going to end up with the SHITTY end of the stick. It is bad. It can only get worse. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.